So, welcome back to the disaster zone. Last time we checked in, Juliet had just saved the world. Well, sort of. She overthrew a dictator and accidentally declared herself supreme commander at the age of 17. Because clearly nothing could go wrong when you hand the apocalypse to a traumatized teenager with no leadership experience and a boyfriend she shot once. But running a country, turns out it's a little harder than overthrowing one. Now Juliet has to deal with political backstabbing, foreign leaders who absolutely hate her, and the small inconvenient detail that her entire life might have been a lie. New enemies, new betrayals, same explosive drama. If you thought shooting the bad guy was the hard part, yeah. You need to stay a bit longer to find out what can be worse than that. So, Juliet is officially Supreme Commander of Sector 45. She's got the title, the power, the bulletproof outfits, and absolutely no idea what she's doing. Kenji's trying to keep her sane. Warner's brooding in the background, pretending he doesn't have abandonment issues. Adam's somewhere being salty. And the rest of the world? Yeah, they're not exactly thrilled about a teenage girl running things, especially not the other sector's leaders, a group of spoiled, violent government kids known as the Children of the Supreme Commanders. Let's just say they hate Juliet on sight. And honestly, it's mutual. But Juliet's determined to prove herself. She's holding meetings, she's giving speeches, she's trying to sound confident, even when she wants to run screaming into the nearest wall. Meanwhile, Warner's hiding something, which is weird because normally Warner's communication style is aggressive honesty. But now, he's avoiding conversations like it's his full-time job. Kenji can smell the drama coming from 3 miles away, but he's too busy flirting, eating all the snacks, and carrying the emotional weight of this entire story on his back to do anything about it. Then, things start falling apart fast. First, Juliet gets poisoned during a fancy symposium where she's supposed to show the world she's in charge. 1 minute she's giving a speech, the next she's collapsing into a pile of trauma and confusion. Let's rewind for a second to that fancy symposium, aka Juliet's big political debut. This was supposed to be her, I'm not just a teenage mutant, I'm a global leader now moment. Instead, she faints mid-sentence like her brain hit the snooze button on reality. The fallout is immediate. Diplomats start whispering. Sector heads exchange "we're so screwed" glances. One guy literally checks his notes like he showed up to the wrong apocalypse. Because nothing screams stable regime like your supreme commander face planting in front of the United Nations of dystopia. And the funniest part, everyone thinks Warner poisoned her, or Kenji, or both. There's even a betting pool forming, which Kenji may or may not be managing behind the scenes. So now, Juliet has to deal with suspicious world leaders, a possible diplomatic collapse, and the crushing realization that being Supreme Commander doesn't come with a how-to guide or a refund policy. And just when you think it can't get worse, Warner finally confesses massive secrets he's been hiding, like family-destroying secrets. His mother? Yeah, she's alive. Alive, locked away, and hidden like an embarrassing family secret you keep in the attic. Turns out, Warner's dad didn't just ruin his life, he also locked up his mom and pretended she didn't exist. Nice, right? Warner's been secretly visiting her for years, sneaking into creepy medical facilities like some emotionally repressed ninja, trying to keep her alive without anyone finding out. And when he tells Juliet, the guy breaks. Not in a smash a wall and scream at the moon kind of way, more like system shutdown. Blank stare, zero expression, full-on I'm fine mode, which obviously means he's one stub toe away from a complete meltdown. Juliet's like, what do I even do with this? She's angry, confused, probably wondering how many more tragic plot twists Warner has hiding under that perfectly tailored shirt. But in that moment, she sees it. This isn't some heartless villain. This is a sad boy wrapped in daddy issues and war crimes who's never really been loved the right way. Just like that, the I hate you turns into, why are you making me care again? Oh, and just when you think Warner's finished dumping trauma like it's open mic night, he drops this gem. Juliet isn't who she thinks she is. Her real name, Ella Summers, Her real family, not dead, just deeply evil. Oh, and she has a secret twin sister who's locked in a lab being used as a human psychic weapon. Because of course she does. Also, fun bonus fact, Juliet's parents, the ones she thought abandoned her, are actually some of the most horrifying leaders on the planet. And they're very much still alive and very much interested in getting their daughter back. And by getting her back, we mean brainwashing her into a weapon for world domination. Of course, Juliet does not take any of this well. There's a lot of yelling, a lot of betrayal, and one dramatic balcony scene where Warner basically gets emotionally yeeted across the room. Meanwhile, Kenji is just trying to keep everyone alive and emotionally stable with exactly zero support. Juliet tries to hold everything together. She tells herself she's strong enough, smart enough, angry enough to fix this. She's wrong because her biological parents, especially her mother, aren't playing games. They crash her next big political event, kidnap her, and wipe her memories clean. Just like that, Juliet Ferrars, the girl who fought to take her life back, is gone. And Ella Summers, the perfect weapon, is reborn. Just wow, what a roller coaster. So you've made it to the next book, Defy Me. Juliet, or Ella, depending on who you ask, is not having a good time. She wakes up drugged, restrained, and more confused than a cat in a dog park. Her memories are scrambled and her head is a mess. Meanwhile, Warner thinks she's dead. And Warner doesn't handle feelings well on a good day. On a bad day, he completely implodes. He shuts down, pushes everyone away, and loses the last few threads of emotional stability he had left. Warner's not just emotionally spiraling. He's basically starring in a one-man horror show directed by his own dad. After Juliet disappears, dear old Supreme Commander Anderson decides it's the perfect time for some quality father-son torture bonding. Broken bones? Check. Bruised ego? Double check. He's one tragic piano chord away from auditioning for Les Mis Dystopia Edition. But does Warner talk about it? Of course not. He just throws on a clean shirt over the bruises, clenches his jaw like an emotionally constipated Greek god, and sulks in the corner like repression is an Olympic sport. Kenji, once again the MVP of mental health support, tries to keep things together. He misses Juliet like crazy, has absolutely no idea how to fix anything, and mostly wants to punch Warner and hug him at the same time. While Juliet is trapped in creepy lab memory wipe hell, she starts getting flashes of her real past. As Juliet's mind starts patching itself back together, we get a front row seat to the world's worst childhood montage. And no, this is not some hazy golden hour scene with lullabies and bedtime hugs. Nope, it's tests, punishments, electroshock therapy as a warm-up exercise. It's basically her version of a bedtime story. Tiny Ella and Emmeline, her surprise twin sister, didn't have stuffed animals. They had brain scans and observation charts. Their milestones weren't first words or first steps. It was gold star for not accidentally exploding anyone. Turns out her entire childhood was a science experiment. Her parents, Evie and Maximilian Summers, basically ran a live-action villain academy. They genetically engineered Juliet and her twin sister, Emmeline, to be superweapons. And Emmeline, she's still alive. Barely, but alive. She's being held in a glass coffin somewhere, pumped full of drugs, her mind cracking under the strain of being used as a psychic nuke. Juliet's connection to Emmeline is strong. So strong that Emmeline is reaching out, invading Juliet's mind, sending her visions, begging for help. Meanwhile, Warner finally pulls himself together enough to launch a rescue mission. Kenji tags along mostly because without him, Warner would definitely either die or destroy something important out of pure stubborn rage. They track Juliet down. There are emotional reunions, confused declarations of love, and a lot of trauma that no one is even remotely prepared to process. Juliet remembers everything now. The labs, the experiments, the tests, the lies. Her parents didn't love her. They built her like a weapon, like a tool. And Warner, he knew about some of it, not because he wanted to hurt her, but because he thought protecting her meant keeping her in the dark. Well, let's just say that didn't work. Juliet doesn't blame him, though, because at this point, trust issues are just part of the starter pack for anyone living through this series. Instead, she focuses on what matters, saving Emmeline, bringing down her parents, and trying to survive another day. The gang regroups, they plan, they plot. Kenji flirts shamelessly with a new girl named Nazira, who might be way too cool for this entire apocalypse, honestly. But the clock is ticking. Emmeline's psychic connection to Juliet is getting stronger and way more dangerous. Juliet's losing time, blacking out, seeing things that aren't there. Juliet's brain? Yeah, it's not exactly her own anymore. Emmeline is in there now, hijacking her thoughts, borrowing her body, and occasionally doing a little psychic redecorating. One minute, Juliet's talking to Kenji. The next, she's waking up in a different building, confused, probably missing a shoe, and halfway through a meltdown she doesn't remember starting. And the deeper Emmeline pulls her into the mental void, the closer Juliet edges toward losing herself completely. They don't have a choice. If they want to save Emmeline and themselves, they'll have to storm the labs, destroy the system that built them, and pray they're strong enough to survive what comes next. Because Juliet's not just fighting the world anymore. She's fighting her own mind. So Juliet's life has always been a mess, but now it's officially a horror movie. Welcome to the book, Imagine Me. Thanks to her psychic connection with Emmeline, her twin sister turned human panic button, Juliet's mind is glitching harder than a busted vending machine. She's losing time, forgetting who she is, waking up in random places with no idea if she's supposed to punch someone or run away screaming. And sometimes the glitches aren't just weird, they're dangerous. Mid-meltdown, Juliet nearly kills Warner. Yep. Full-on psychic explosion, no control, almost fried her boyfriend like a leftover burrito. It's not her, it's Emmeline clawing through her mind. But that moment, that terror, it breaks something in Juliet. She realizes if she doesn't get a grip fast, she might lose everything, including the person she loves most. And the visions? Oh yeah, they're the cherry on this trauma sundae. Dead people, blood, reality doing somersaults. Honestly, it's like someone dropped acid on her whole existence. Meanwhile, Warner is doing his absolute best to keep it together, which for Warner mostly means punching walls and silently screaming into the void. Kenji, bless him, is the only one functioning, and only because sarcasm is the only system in this story that hasn't crashed yet. Everyone knows time's running out. Emmeline's powers are spiraling out of control. Every second she's trapped in that lab, things get worse. Not just for Juliet, but for the entire planet. So, new plan. Step 1, storm the reestablishment's final stronghold. Step 2, save Emmeline. Step 3, try not to die. Simple, clean, ready for their own funeral. Just how they like it. They break into the labs with a lot of noise. Honestly, at this point, they might as well have used the front door and asked for a tour. Juliet fights her way through security systems, brainwashed soldiers, and about 6 miles of evil guy monologues from men who really needed therapy 20 years ago. Finally, they reach Emmeline, or at least what's left of her. Emmeline's body is broken. Her mind is barely hanging on. And worst of all, she doesn't want to be saved. She begs Juliet to stop it, to stop the experiments, to set her free. Juliet doesn't want to. Every part of her is screaming no, but deep down, she knows her sister is right. Saving her sister doesn't mean dragging her out of the lab. It means letting her go. In one of the most heartbreaking scenes of the series, Juliet says goodbye. She absorbs Emmeline's powers into herself, fulfilling Emmeline's final wish, live for both of us. And just like that, Emmeline, the ghost tethered to Juliet's mind, is finally at peace. We need a moment of silence for this, and a tissue. All right, moment's over. The only good thing to come out of this mess? Juliet upgrades from glitchy disaster to final boss mode in under 60 seconds. No more short circuits. No more mental error messages. It's like someone installed the Emmeline 2.0 update and now she's running on God mode. Suddenly, gravity's optional, walls are suggestions, and the laws of physics are more like polite guidelines. She's not just powerful, she is power, with better hair and zero patience. And Juliet's got unfinished business. Before she can even wipe her tears, her creators, aka the world's worst parent trap, step onto the scene thinking they're still in charge. Well, they're not. Juliet, now supercharged with Emmeline's powers, doesn't hesitate. No speech, no second chances. She ends them both, quick, clean, and without a flicker of guilt. Because after everything, she's finally free. But wait, she's not done being terrifying just yet. She turns that unstoppable fury on the last surviving Supreme Commanders. You know, the people who thought they could still control her. Yeah, they get absolutely vaporized in record time. Years of experiments, years of trauma, years of being told she was dangerous, broken, unwanted. She burns it all down. Because Juliet isn't a weapon anymore. She's not their property. She's not their mistake. She's their ending. When the dust settles, Juliet is standing tall. The reestablishment is destroyed. The labs are gone. Just freedom. She reunites with Warner, Kenji, and the rest of her found family circus. And for the first time in her life, Juliet Ferrars, Ella Summers, whoever she decides to be, feels whole, not perfect, not healed, but herself. There's still a broken world to rebuild. Still a million hard days ahead. But if there's one thing Juliet knows now, she's not anyone's weapon anymore. She's the storm.